to the Workforce Connections podcast, where we discuss workforce development in Southern Nevada. Here's your host.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the WC podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We invite Tyler Corder, who is the Chief Financial Officer for the Findlay Automotive Group, but also my fellow board trustee at the Vegas Chamber. Tyler, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to spending some time with you. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us about where you grew up, where you went to school, college, your first job, and perhaps your journey to getting to the Findlay Group.
Sure, that's all pretty simple. So I grew up I'm a farm kid. I grew up in a very, very rural part of central Montana on a wheat farm. And so that's my background. And then I went to Montana State University and got a business degree there. Out of college, I got a job with GMAC, which was General Motors Acceptance Corporation, the finance arm of General Motors. And so, and start off very humble, not very glamorous, as I was the guy knocking on doors and collecting past due car payments and so forth. Basic job skills, they called it. But worked my way up in the company and got transferred a few times and ended up at the end of 1992, got transferred to Las Vegas as the branch manager for GMAC here in Las Vegas. And that's where I met Mr. Findlay, who had a couple of car dealerships. And we got to talk, and he had plans for growth, needed help managing that and helping him grow the organization. So I made the move and went to work with the Findlay family at that time back in 1994.
Wow, it's been how many years then?
So it's been next year it'll be 30 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a longevity. Wow. And I hear, a great place to work. Of course, I've bought automobiles at Findlay Toyota, Findlay Mazda.
We appreciate that, by the way.
But I also hear I got to meet Cliff through Lonnie Wright, who played with him at the UNLV running Rebels. And I'm sure you're there because it's a wonderful family to work with. I know Robbie as well. They all seem to be top-notch people.
Yeah, and they are good people. And what I like about it is that they've given me the autonomy to kind of help. We've kind of created the organization on our own and created the culture and so forth. And you'll see us involved in the community a lot, and all of that stuff that we've just kind of created along the way. And it makes it, I think the employees look at what we do in the community and think this is a good place to work because they're proud to work there. And I really feel we've got the best people in the car business because we run a good organization, treat our people right, treat our customers right, and that attracts good people.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that today, a little bit about a mechanics program, a technicians program that you do with Foundation for an Independent Tomorrow in the Findlay Group. But before we get there, last Tuesday was a special day for you and I.
Yes.
We got to, I know you said it first, but I felt the same way. You and I got to sneak into a list of very amazing leaders, 2 governors, our current Governor Lombardo, Governor Sandoval, and others that I think we admire and respect. MJ Maynard from the RTC, Missy Young from Switch, Carrie Bubos from the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, such a list, you included. Now that you've had a little time to digest, Tyler, share with our listeners, our viewers, what has that meant for you to be recognized as a most respected leader here in our state?
Well, I mean, it's a great honor. I joke with people that I think they got me mixed up with somebody else, but I showed up for the photo shoot anyway.
I did the same.
But it always feels good if someone, especially people outside your immediate core of people that you deal with, recognizes what you're doing. And so that's what I like about it is that, someone in the community is paying attention to what we're doing and think we're doing the right things. And so I appreciate the honor. It was great to be there. Very humbled to be there with that great group. Absolutely. Yourself included, by the way.
Yeah, I also felt very humbled. I think, like you said, I'm glad you said it first because I was feeling it. I said, it feels like they made a mistake, but I made sure to show up on the photo shoot as well. So Tyler, you are active also in many charitable causes. One of the things you do for our community, again, outside of your regular job, is serve on the board of the Foundation for an Independent Tomorrow, FIT, which Janet Blumen leads for many years. And every year, Workforce Connections subawards $1 million to FIT to do this work. They are currently hosting our American Job Center, which now has a statewide brand called the EmployMV Career Hub. The Vegas Chamber hosts one for businesses called the EmployMV Business Hub. And so there's a lot of great work happening there, but I want you to tell us, because this particular technician program has a unique tie to Findlay. So tell us a little bit about that program.
Sure. So I've been on the board over there for about 8 years now, and and we do job training for a number of skills with the goal of trying to get underemployed and unemployed people so they can provide for their family with a living wage. And so through this process, I looked at one of the needs we have in the auto industry is automotive technicians, and it's a good paying career. But we were having trouble attracting people, and I think it's because a lot of people have the mentality that it's a greasy, dirty job in an old shop, but now it's more computer diagnostics and so forth. So anyway, I sat down with Janet Blumen and said, let's create an automotive technician training program. We need the people at Findlay, and I know other dealers also do. Need the people, and we've got this training, the Standards for Excellence Academy that we run at FIT. Let's train automotive technicians. And so we got together I brought in 4 of my service managers from various dealerships, and they wrote the curriculum. I wanted them to write it to, what do you want people trained at when you hire someone? What do you want them to know and what to be able to do? And so we created this program, and it's a 16-week program, 3 days a week, hands-on experience in one of our Findlay shops where you're working side by side with automotive technicians, master techs, and learning the business, and then 2 days a week in classroom training. At the end of that period, they have all the skills and knowledge they need to go to work in an automotive shop at one of the dealerships. And so we've hired just about everybody out of that program. We've at least offered everybody out of that program, and so it's been wonderful. And there's some great stories that I talked to some of these young guys that were sleeping on their friend's couch and really didn't have anything going in life, and they got into this program, and now they're making good money and enjoying their job. And so it's been fun. A good way for us to hire people, but also a good way to put people to work that need a career.
Totally, and I commend you and Janet for coming up with this idea because it was much needed. And it's a model that could apply, not only to many other dealerships, like you said, across the automotive industry. It starts with Findlay, but also I think other industries could apply this model, other employers. And so I want to give you some quickly, just knowing that you were coming, I asked the staff to pull up some numbers, and Michael Hollis at Fit sent us these numbers. 78 people enrolled in this training. 72 have already successfully completed the course. 61 have already obtained employment with Findlay. That's an 85% placement. Unheard of, amazing. Again, thanks to an employer that's engaged and believes in it. And the average hourly wages are between $20 and $22 an hour. And I know that's just now. When they gain experience, they'll probably break the 6 figures.
Yes, absolutely. The automotive technician career path is that you become certified at various levels, and if you're at whatever manufacturer you're working for, if you're at a Toyota shop, you become a level 2 technician, a level 3, level 4, so where you become a master technician, and those guys command really significant money. And but because they have a skill, they can diagnose and fix what's wrong with your car, and that's what we all want, right? So
That's right.
It starts off at a good paying job, but can become a great paying job.
Yeah, no, amazing. Tyler, and that's one of the, obviously you recognize the lack of technicians, and you guys came up with a solution that should be scaled. Tell us about other challenges in the automotive industry. Like, I see on TV 60 Minutes and CBS this morning news shows the chip shortage, which sometimes you go to a dealership and a certain model has no units. What kind of other challenges is there in your industry besides the talent shortage?
Well, for the last couple of years, certainly the chip shortage has been a problem. That's pretty much corrected itself now. We've got pretty good inventories. There are certain models that we're a little short of, and there were supply chain issues. We had all sorts of problems with the rail yards and getting vehicles here. So we would tell a customer their car was going to be here next week, and it wouldn't be here for 3 or 4 weeks, and that caused a lot of friction with people. So, but most of that is solved now. So now in the automotive industry, it's finding the right people. It's dealing with, like anything, there's so much government regulation. So making sure that we're compliant with all the various laws, whether it's OSHA laws or it's employment laws or it's disclosure laws on finance and so forth. So we're constantly training our people and trying to do the right thing. Those are the kind of things that we deal with at the dealership level. And then the other one is, where's the future? What happens with the car business? Are we going to switch from internal combustion engines to where we'll be mostly electric cars and so forth? That's kind of what we're all trying to figure out. And how do we, if that's the case, then how do we scale for that at the dealership level.
That's a great. Let's follow up on that subject. The world is evolving. I mean, Henry Ford and the assembly line seems like so long ago,
Right.
but it revolutionized the way cars were manufactured. Now here in the hotels, I spent 20 years in the hotels, and now I go back and they have robots not only dealing games, but robots mixing drinks.
Wow.
Robots delivering things up to the room, sheets and towels. And so you can really see the effect of automation, robotics, and now this artificial intelligence world they say is going to revolutionize not just the workplace, the world, our culture, how we live. So these things that you're talking about in the automotive industry, again, for years now, we've normalized the fact that in a factory, there is these arms picking up car doors,
Right.
and then assisting a human who's aligning it and maybe putting the last two bolts, robots painting and all this stuff. Do you see that evolving in your industry, or is there something unique about AI maybe that's going to revolutionize how cars are made?
Well, I don't know. I certainly am not an expert on how they're made. I've actually worked in a factory for a half a day. They had me go back and do that. It's the most monotonous thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
I had this one little part that I stuck in the dashboard, and
All day.
I did it about 100 times in a couple hours. But so yeah, it's amazing when you go to a factory and you see, you know, the whatever part they need, the robot goes and gets it and brings it right in and so forth. I don't know where that's going to go. At the dealership level, probably the biggest thing that we're looking at is everyone wants to do everything online, but it's a complicated process to finance a car and configure it and so forth. And so we're working on the software that's required for someone to be able to completely finance a car and be able to walk in and there's no paperwork to do, it's already done, and you just take the car home. That's the biggest challenge that we're working on. And how do you do that without, that presents opportunities for fraud. There's lots of credit fraud going on in the world. And how do you protect everyone, the bank and the dealership, that the person you're dealing with is actually who they say they are? You know, those are the types of things that we're dealing with every day at the dealership level.
Let me ask you a question that's probably maybe more in the finance, but you know, I for many years used to buy my cars because I wanted to hand it over to my kids who I knew were going to go to high school and college.
Yep.
But now I've started to lease. What is that balance? Do you see? Has it always been more buying than leasing? Is it changing? What is the balance when your customer comes to the dealerships?
So I don't know that it's changed over the years, the percentage of people that buy or lease. Sometimes it changes based on what the manufacturer incentives are. Sometimes they have more incentives on a lease than on a purchase. But when interest rates are low, people tend to buy the car and the leasing isn't so attractive. And for a lot of people, leasing doesn't work because they put more miles on. You know, a lease has a certain mileage limitation. The big issue with leasing from the manufacturer side, the lender side, the dealership side, what's that vehicle going to be worth in 3 years or 4 years when that lease is over? So setting that residual value is a big question. And so right now, what I'm seeing in the leasing industry or the leasing part of the business is there's a lot of uncertainty as we get into electric cars. What's an electric car going to be worth in a couple of years? Nobody knows. And so they're really guessing on the residuals to be able to set up those lease factors. So there's some risk to a consumer to buy an electric car because you don't know what it's going to be worth. But so maybe you let the finance company take that risk by leasing the car and let them take the residual risk. So those are the kinds of things that are going on. But leasing is always available for some consumers, depending on what their driving habits are and how often they normally trade in a car. If you trade it in every couple of years and you don't put a ton of miles on it, leasing's the best thing for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And the folks at Findlay Toyota, your manager there will do anything to sell you a car. They made it so easy, as you said. I sat down. I'm in love with my Toyota Highlander. I think it's the best car I've ever owned. I love all the things about it. And so they were very, as you said, 3 years, this is the mileage. Oh, you need more? Okay, let's do that. But this is the number that after 3 years, their car is worth. And then at that time, you can decide if you want it or not. And
your choice at that point.
Yeah, it was really a clean, easy process. When you compare it to, I haven't had this experience at Findlay, but in my years ago, and probably the first cars I bought here, which I don't enjoy, is remember that process of the haggle?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. And so this was the complete opposite. I felt like I was doing a real good deal, a real informed business decision, and it was all up to me and not this, this other process that, that
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't go through when I go there.
So many people have that perception of buying a car as to what, for years the industry didn't do itself any favors by how they would haggle back and forth. And there's still some customers that come in, that's what they want to do. They want to haggle. So if you want to haggle, okay, we'll
Let's
do that.
go.
But we try to make it easier. I mean, the whole process is, how does the customer want to buy the car? How do they want to be in and out in 20 minutes, or they want to spend all day sitting in every car and picking out what they want? We try to adapt to what the consumer wants.
Very good. Tyler, tell me how you spend your time away from work. That day last week, we heard Missy Young say, it's important to set boundaries, to try to find a good balance for the life and, life work. How do you accomplish that?
Well, that's interesting. I don't know that I have any great hobbies. I like to travel. My wife and I, when we get a chance, we travel. And so one of my hobbies is photography a little bit. So when we travel, I get an opportunity to take pictures of new things and so forth. So that's one of my hobbies. And then probably the main thing we do during much of the year is we go to events. We're big fans of UNLV football and basketball, so we go to a lot of the games. We go to a lot of the Golden Knights games and so forth. So there's so much to do in Las Vegas. We always find ourselves out at some sort of an event or a charity event and so forth. So those are the types of things we do in my off time.
Very nice. Yesterday at the Dollar Loan Center, great UNLV game.
I missed it. I had to go to dinner with bankers
Okay.
last night. But yeah, that was awesome.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
Lon Kruger was in the stands watching Kevin coach and watching him get that victory against number 8 ranked.
Yeah,
it was really good.
That's a big win for him.
Tyler, last question. You again, distinguished career here in our community. Everybody knows of you. If there's a young person watching today who one day wants to be a community leader like you, what advice would you give them? What's been important to help you reach and live the life you're living right now?
Well, there's a lot of answers to that, but probably the main thing is to just put yourself out there and get involved in things. There was a point after a while at my career, I decided I wanted to get involved, and so I joined the board of Safe Nest, which is the domestic violence shelter here, and became the president of their board and got real involved. Then I got involved with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and then I got involved with the board of the Red Cross. And all along the way, I met different people. There's different people from outside of, I would never have met, but that are on these boards, and they're from different industries and so forth. And you meet more and more people, and you have more contacts, and I got more involved in things to the point now where, the FIT board that I'm on, the chamber board that we're on together and so forth, and you just meet more and more people. But you got to make the first step. You got to get out there and get involved in something and meet some people that you wouldn't normally meet, and maybe get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
That's great advice. Tyler, I want to thank you for stopping today and spending time with us in the podcast. I look forward in 2024 seeing you at the Vegas Chamber Board of Trustees, working with you, and thank you for the contributions that you've made to our community.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
All right. Well, that's another episode of the WC Podcast. We hope to see you at a future one. Until then, stay safe. So, Tyler, thank you for staying over to do our bonus segment called Against the Wall. Are you ready?
All set. Let's do it.
All right. The first segment is called Your Favorite. So I'm going to give you a category. You're going to give me your favorite one in that category. Let's start with your favorite food.
My favorite food would have to be, right now it's steak. I had a filet mignon last night.
Yummy. Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie has to be what's that name of the movie? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? That's what it was.
Brother, Where Art Thou?
With George
Very
Clooney.
good. Favorite book?
Boy, I read a lot, so that's hard. I'll just go with one that I just recently read, which is The Boys in the Boat.
Okay. Let's go back to your high school days. What was your favorite subject in school?
Wow. So I liked geography.
Okay. What
Yeah.
about in college? Favorite subject in college?
Well, I can tell you my least favorite was statistics, but I think I like the marketing classes the best.
Okay. Your favorite holiday?
Wow. I like Thanksgiving.
Favorite sports team?
Well, I'll have to go with the Golden Knights.
Yes, go Knights, go. Carrie will be
There
happy
you go.
to hear that. The second segment is called Tough Choices. I'm going to give you 2 choices, and you're going to pick one. You ready?
All set.
Toyota or Honda?
Ooh, I own part of the Honda store, so I'll go Honda.
Oh, nice. Sedan or SUV?
Oh, I'm an SUV guy.
Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
When you go to your vacation, would you rather drive there or fly there?
Probably fly there.
Once you get there, hotel or Airbnb?
Hotel.
Cooking at home or eating at a restaurant?
Eat a lot of restaurants. I'd say eating at a restaurant.
Okay. Owe money or owe a favor?
Ooh, owe a favor.
Here's a tough one. Justice or grace?
Boy, I don't even know how to answer that. I'm going to say grace.
All right. Last one. Actions or words?
Actions.
Very good. The last segment is called Finish the Sentence. So I'm going to give you about 95% of it. You're going to finish it for me. Are you ready?
Okay.
If Tyler could live anywhere, he would live
In Montana.
All right. Where you grew up.
That's right.
Very nice. The best part about living in Southern Nevada is?
Wow, is just the people. There's people came from everywhere, and that's the best thing.
I agree. Tyler's favorite thing about his job at Findlay is?
Again, it's the people. I've got great people there. I love being around them every day.
Very good. If Tyler could travel back in time, he would travel to?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd say like the 1920s, the Roaring 20s.
Wow, the Roaring 20s. Very good. And 3 words that describe Tyler are?
Wow. Tyler is hardworking. He's giving, and he's not real serious. So I'd say whatever the word is for not being serious.
I couldn't agree more. Tyler, it's been great to have you here. Tell us the last one. Doing the WC podcast today with us here today was?
Outstanding.
All right. Thank you for staying over.